When you think of big industrial failures, you probably picture massive vessels. But honestly, more often than not, the real trouble starts a lot smaller, in that sprawling network of pipes that connects everything. They're always moving, they're vibrating, and they're under stress at countless points.
So that brings us to the big question we're tackling in this explainer. Why is it that piping seems to fail so much more often than the major vessels it's connected to?
Well, it really just boils down to three key things. First off, you've got its complex geometry. All those elbows, branches, and flanges, they create natural stress points. Second, there's movement. Think about the thermal expansion and constant vibration. That just creates fatigue over time. And finally, corrosion. Piping is just way more exposed, with so many places for moisture to get trapped, like under insulation or at supports.
Okay, so keeping all that in mind, let's walk through the 5 critical zones you should always check out first during an inspection. You can think of this as your field guide for where to look first, to find those small issues before they turn into major problems. First up, we've got Zone 1, welds. Every single weld in a system combines 3 things: a change in the metal's actual structure, a change in geometry, and a concentration of stress. That little trifecta makes welds a high-priority spot to check right out of the gate.
So when you're looking at a weld, you want to focus your attention right here, at the toe of the weld, and in the heat-affected zone, or HAZ, right next to it. That's where you're going to find the first signs of fatigue cracking from all that vibration, or maybe corrosion that's hiding under a damaged coating. All right, let's move on to Zone 2, elbows and direction changes. The idea here is pretty simple, really. Anytime you force a fluid to change direction, you're introducing new forces and creating a natural spot for potential damage.
Yeah, elbows are just natural places for stress to build up. They see higher turbulence, which can lead to thinning from something called erosion-corrosion. Plus, they often have to carry extra loads from tiny misalignments in the pipe. Here's a key field tip. Pay extra close attention to elbows that are near pumps or control valves, because that's where the flow conditions are going to be the most intense. And that brings us right to our third critical zone, branch connections. Now, this includes everything from big T's all the way down to the little small bore instrument lines you see here. And let me tell you, historically, these are classic failure points in any piping system.
So why are they so vulnerable? Well, you've got high stress right at the intersection, and they are super prone to vibration, especially those tiny lines. And here's a massive visual clue to watch out for. If you see a small bore line that's visibly shaking, or maybe it's got some kind of improvised makeshift support on it, that's an immediate red flag for fatigue cracking and potential leaks.
Okay, on to Zone 4, supports and anchors. It's really easy to just walk right past these, but they are absolutely critical to the whole system's integrity. If you have a support that's degraded or even missing, it forces the pipe's load to get shifted somewhere else, which directly speeds up damage at the welds and fittings we just talked about.
When you're inspecting supports, you're on the lookout for a few things: corrosion under the clamps where moisture loves to get trapped, worn-out contact points from metal rubbing on metal, and really any sign of unexpected pipe sag or misalignment. And hey, if a support has actually lifted off its base, that is a clear warning that the system is under some serious stress. Our final stop is Zone 5, flanges and gaskets. Flanges are such common leak points simply because they're a complex assembly. Think about it. You've got bolts, gasket compression, and alignment all having to work together perfectly, and all of it is being affected by thermal cycles. The usual suspects here are bolts that have loosened up after temperature changes, and gaskets that are just getting old. Luckily, the visual cues are usually pretty obvious. Look for any staining, maybe some white or black deposits blowing out from the flange, or parts of the gasket that look damaged or pushed out. Even a tiny seep should be documented, especially if it's in a hazardous service. Okay, so we've covered where to look. Now let's try to connect those visual symptoms to the damage that's going on underneath, so we can really understand what's happening inside that pipe. The thing is, across these 5 zones, the types of damage you'll find are actually pretty predictable. You're going to see a lot of external corrosion, including that notorious corrosion under insulation, or CUI. You'll also find erosion corrosion in high-velocity systems, fatigue from vibration, and in certain surfaces, stress corrosion cracking. The big takeaway here? Damage isn't random. It's a product of the geometry and the service conditions. And this brings up a really important distinction. Your visual inspection, what you see with your own eyes, finds the symptoms, the staining, the damaged coatings, the vibration. Non-destructive testing, or NDT, that's what gives you the confirmation, the hard data like wall thickness or proof that a crock exists. A smart visual walkdown tells you exactly where to use your NDT to get the biggest bang for your buck.
So, how do we pull all of this together into a plan you can actually use? Let's outline a simple routine that you can apply immediately out in the field.
Here's a quick 5-step routine for you. 1. Walk down the system, but focus on the 5 zones we just covered. 2. Always be aware of the service and its operating cycles. 3. Look for anything that's changed, any new vibrations, hotspots, or coating damage. 4. Document what you find with photos and make sure you get the line tag and location in the shot. And 5, and this is the most important, always work with the proper permits and safety controls in place.
And of course, it goes without saying, every inspection has to be grounded in safety and compliance. Your practices in the field should always line up with your local requirements and recognized industry standards from groups like ASME, API, and ISO. These aren't just suggestions, they provide the essential framework you need to manage integrity.
So, if you remember just one thing from this whole explainer, let it be this simple but really powerful idea. When you know the zones, you can dramatically reduce the risk. Seriously, getting a handle on these areas is one of the fastest and most effective ways to improve reliability and safety in any plant.
And that leaves us with one last question for you to think about. In your own plant, which one of these critical zones causes the most headaches, the most reoccurring issues? Is it the welds, the branch connections, maybe the supports? It's definitely something to keep in mind on your next walkdown.